Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Soul family, and welcome to Weekly Wisdom and Insights, your home for spiritually guided transformation and empowerment. I am your host, DearJames, and together with the unseen, Spirit, Source, and Symphony, we look at the current energies and to their intuitive wisdom and guidance, and to direct us in life, to see what's going on and how to best live our best life. So let's look at everything, and welcome as you're joining from around the globe. Place in the comments, welcome Olivia, good morning. Place in the comments where you're joining from, and remember that we take your questions and comments and we incorporate them throughout the live broadcast. So lots going on. In the United States, yesterday was 4th of July, Independence Day. And this ties in because I'd like to say that we're building off of last week, but that's not actually the case. There's a real, from 7-1 to 7-7, we're looking at the numbers and the energies of this week. We always do, but we typically look at the current day's numbers, i.e. July 5th, which is today. But this time, the unseen is having me look at, for all of us, they're having me look at 7-1 to 7-7. And there's a demarcation, which was June 30th. So imagine, see in your mind's eye, 6:30 and then 7-1. And what they said was the main themes, let me just bring this up here. The main theme is liberation, freedom, deliverance. And then they said, the shot heard round the universe. And so I'm going to bounce a little bit here because I just want to, as we're joining, because it's a big theme. There's a very clear demarcation line, and it is 6:30, and there was an impetus about this. There was this force of like 6:30 ends something, and that something is the old way, a way of life, and we've been talking about this, and I'm aware of that. However, there was a very clear demarcation line, 6:30, 7-1. And this was playing out. So there are multiple people that I'm aware of where big changes occurred, took place, the effective date of something, the ending of something, and the beginning of something was 6:30, 7-1. Old, new. And how this shot heard round the world. Well, what's interesting, this shot heard round the universe. So the shot heard round the world is a phrase that refers to the opening shot of the battles of Lexington and Concord on April 19th, 1775, which sparked the American Revolutionary War and led to the creation of the United States. Now remember, we have been talking about Pluto hasn't been in Aquarius since the French and American revolutions, which created the Industrial Revolution, the creation of the United States. And here, the unseen for this 7177, this new, and I'm putting over here on the right, because what's come before it is past, it's on the left. So 630 was that demarcation line. And the shot heard round the universe. This time it's the universe, the whole of the whole. And they, the unseen, have spoken to us about how the whole of the whole gets the upgrade this time. The whole of the whole, the universe. So this revolution, this shot heard round the universe, this demarcation line occurred 6:30:71. Now, and our main theme, and it's very interesting, yes, it coincides with Independence Day for the United States, the creation of the United States. However, the theme, liberation, freedom, deliverance. And notice how this image is, in essence, of what they're giving me in the moment is, like it represents enslavement. This boxed in, subterranean boxed in cell, room, space. And yet up through, there's the ladder, like Jacob's ladder, and it's this red ladder. Here it is that it goes up through the top, and it's illuminating the liberation of things, of peoples, of a time, an era, a space, because it leads to something new, something higher. And the first thing they said, from an intuitive standpoint, the unseen said was, no longer held back, held down, released from the dark, illumination. And this image represents that very strongly. So it's about no longer being held back, held down, released from the dark, illumination. And that is what this image is representing to us. There is so much here, I can't even tell you. So just the coincidence, and again, I don't, I listen intuitively. So as they're giving me the information, and then I go and Google and research and so forth. And so that tells me what's going on and what's happening. So that image comes, we find it. Then the shot heard round the universe. So be aware. Welcome, Colleen. Welcome, Ava. Be mindful and be aware, and think about, did anything occur? Are you aware of anybody else in your sphere of influence and friendships and colleagues and so forth, or in your general sphere, where there was an ending and a beginning, 6:30:71. And it's interesting as well, 7/1 is literally the 182nd day of our 365-day calendar. So that demarcation, it's right at the midway point. And one would say, because there's one day out of time, so it's really 364 days. So that 7/1 is the new of the second half. And then you have the 1 day, quote unquote, out of time, which gives us the 365 days. Let's look at the actual main energies that are going on, because all of this is really quite fascinating. And you'll see up on your screen this time, it's not just a singular date, it's 7/1 to 7/7. And coming up, so on Friday, is literally triple sevens. It's July 7th, and 2023 is a 7. So you have triple sevens. So 7/1, the 7/5, and you'll see also on the astrological pieces, I'm bouncing a little bit, bear with me. So again, all year long and all month long, double sevens. This army, legions, correct discipline. Knowing that we have everything we need, and to utilize it with wisdom, with correctness, correct discipline. Respond, not to react. The fifth is, the number 5 is nourished while waiting, patience. So we've been in this state of patience, of grace. And it's to realize that we have everything we need. So we are being nourished even when it's painful. Like we're watching things, this transitions, these transformations of time, of eras. It's a major shift from the Piscean era to the Aquarian era. It's a major shift. Then I'm using the fifth, the 7, the 5, and the 7 become a 19. That's about approach. This newness. It's about, remember we talked about like approaching your maker, approaching this era, and that it's an advance. Arc of Destiny, forward. We're always going forward. The 1 and the 9 become a 10. And it's saying 10 represents treading, cautious advance. So in other words, it's to be mindful. It's to be keenly aware, eyes wide open to how you're responding or reacting, to how you're advancing. And to do so, to tread forward, to move, because a 10 denotes new beginnings. And so it is about moving forward, however, with awareness, caution meaning awareness. Not caution as in don't do it, but caution as in to be aware, illumination. And then the 1 and the 0, of course, becomes a 1, which denotes the creative force, and it's to initiate the new. So this period is all about, I said in my mind before the show started, I said, don't cough, and then look what they did. So there is this poignancy about this time. That is what they're making us very aware of it in the moment. There's a poignancy about this time, about this demarcation moment. The old order, the old way, the old things, over. I know when we look at the world stage, you look at the news, you see what's going on in the world, it doesn't look like that. I understand that. What we're being made aware of, what the unseen is making us aware of, is that it very much is over. Overdone, complete. The new 7-1 commences. And thereby, second thing they said was breakthrough beyond repair. So a breakthrough beyond repair. So, and what did that mean? Like, it was a very interesting thing. And by the way, we're working with hexagram 40, deliverance. We're working with deliverance. We're working with forgiveness. We're working with liberation and freedom. This shot heard round the universe, and how that the original, the shot heard round the world, coincided with the American Revolution, which created the United States, Pluto in Aquarius. Pluto right now is in Capricorn. It's in its final, I think, 6 months. It goes officially into Aquarius on the 24th of January. And so it's tidying up. It's completing things, if you will. And yet there's a demarcation in this moment. So breakthrough beyond repair. And they said, and what that meant, because it's kind of like, what does that mean? Breakthrough beyond repair. Meaning it's not meant to be repaired. The breakthrough is permanent. The breakthrough, because a lot of times we think, oh, I can just go back and repair that and we keep going, everything keeps going. It's like they're showing me plugging holes in a boat. Well, if we just tar them, we fill the holes and tar them, the boat, we can keep going. This is about a breakthrough beyond repair. It's not about repairing the past. It is not about trying to fix what was broken. It's about leaving it in the past, leaving it behind in totality, a breakthrough beyond repair. And then they said, no going, no turning back. And then it was the Humpty Dumpty. And the nursery rhyme, and we've had this, and it was about all the king's horses, all the king's men couldn't put Humpty Dumpty back together again. All the king or the queen, depending, represented, it was by divine right that they ruled. So they were the earthly representation of the divine. And so here in the nursery rhyme, all the king's men and all the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty Dumpty back together again. So again, a breakthrough beyond repair, because it's about deliverance. It's about being advanced. It is about leaving it all behind. So in our personal lives, be open, really be open, and then surrender to what Where do I need to leave things behind? Who, what, where, when? A clean breakthrough, that you're to leave things in the past, leave them behind, so as to emerge, to move forward, whole, new, reborn, beautified, inside out, beautified. Then they said, and the 637-1, and they said, the ultimate ending hyphen beginning. And you're going to see how hexagram 40, last week we had hexagram 63 and 64, after completion and before completion. And literally in hexagram 40, which they gave to me, deliverance, liberation, deliverance, its hidden influence is 63, after completion, renew. You can't make it up. You can't make it up if you try. So, and its action is to untangle. So we're literally being untangled, liberated, untangled from the past. And again, it comes back to, where in our individual lives do you know, are you bound up? Are you living in the past? And hexagram 40, this liberation, has to do with forgiveness. And let me just bring it up. It's our mantra. Our mantra is, I forgive myself and others. Forgiveness is an inside job. Forgiveness is the gift we give ourselves. Yes, it can be applied externally. I'm forgiving someone else. However, in order to forgive someone else, we have to recognize what was in it for ourselves. And thus, forgiveness is an inside job. And we can forgive ourselves and others without ever interacting with another person. It's not dependent. The forgiveness is not dependent upon another accepting it. The forgiveness is in recognizing, which frees us. It liberates us. You can see liberation, deliverance. It frees us because we're recognizing it ourselves, within ourselves. And we're recognizing the divine role the other plays for us. And thereby the forgiveness is, I forgive that I misunderstood my own play, my own soul's journey. And because I do that, I'm able to see below, deeper, wider, higher, so forth. So they said 637-1, this demarcation line, the ultimate ending hyphen beginning. And then they said, the old ways pass over. And I was like, what? Because you would normally say the old ways pass away. They go away, they pass away. But this was a play on the old ways pass over. And I just want to bring up very quickly, so Passover, of course, the Hebrew Pesach. In Judaism, it's a holiday commemorating the Hebrews' liberation from slavery in Egypt and the passing over of the forces of destruction, or the sparing of the firstborn of the Israelites when the Lord smote the land of Egypt on the eve of the Exodus. Exodus and Revelations, they are about permanently liberating from enslavement. The main theme you see, don't have my glasses on. We'll get to that in a second. Liberation, freedom, deliverance from this enslavement, from this darkness. And thereby, it will be the shot heard round the universe, because there's the implication here. I hope you all are getting the implication that the first time around, and remember this, so this goes back again to coinciding with Pluto in Aquarius, not since the American and French revolutions and so forth. We also have Saturn in Pisces. And they spoke to us about, go back and look at kind of the 1993 to 1998 period in your life, how you were doing something, how you made changes in your life, it would have been an elevation and so forth, and how this is now occurring again. So Saturn is in Pisces again, and how they said to us in some of the previous shows that this will be a moment where we shift again. However, this time it will be in a more Aquarian way. Well, it's the same thing with the Passover, the old ways pass over, this liberation. It's going to be this same type of thing where we're being delivered from, and this shot heard round the universe. The first time was the shot heard round the world, earthly. Like 1993 to 98, human in context. The micro. The macro version is now this moment, this time. Aquarian age, it's a shot heard around the universe, not just the world. It will be in 93 to 98 how what you did was for you. This time what you do will be for we the whole, the people, the universe, the whole of the whole. It's like the play changes, the energy changes, the stage changes. I hope I am doing justice to all of this, because big topics here. There are big changes and shifts here that they're speaking to. The fourth thing they said, which is foundational, number 4, and they said revealing, quote, what is yours. And then the second quote, what awaits you, with an exclamation point. And then I heard Judgment Day blessings, forgiveness hyphen love, atonement. So what they're talking about is revealing what is yours. And this goes back to the fact that we've spoken about the difference between the old word, the old mindset was all about community, the word community. This time around, it's all about the word unity. Community, in a sense, meant coming together, being in unison with others. And yet, it became corrupted in the sense that it created a hierarchy, division, separation. Community, are you with us? Are you part of our community? And which denotes a separation. Unity is unity. It's one. It cannot be separated. It cannot be corrupted. It cannot be divided. And so there's revealing what is yours is a reminder that what is yours. On a soul level, there is no competition for something. There may be, in unity, collaboration, cooperation. However, what is mine is mine. It will always be that. Nobody, because we're each individually unique. And thereby, and there will be, they're showing me the fates, they're showing me the 3 of Cups in the tarot, which denotes cooperation, collaboration, unity. And in the 3 of Cups, it's joy, it's celebration. It's a joy to do this. And each person will recognize in their own right what is theirs. It's this revealing what is yours, what awaits you. And they're speaking to me in the moment about, so it's the heart's desire, it's the soul's desire, not the ego, mind, personality that will corrupt that, dilute it, negotiate, but what's really, truly pure, yours. And thereby, there's no beg, borrow, barter, steal, negotiate, delay, because it's pure. It is divine in its nature, and it will speak to your heart, your soul. It's a knowing that it's yours, and it doesn't belong to another. So, okay, let's move on to the astro influences, and let me just bring in. And Ava is saying, thank you, that makes so much sense. And Barbara is saying, it's tarot cards, witchcraft. Where does tarot come from? No, tarot is not witchcraft. All ancient systems. So remember that tarot, the I Ching, astrology, there are ancient divination systems. And that was, in fact, the ploy to a degree that, because remember, even with the Bible, they did not want lay people, they, the powers that be, did not want lay people utilizing the Bible, and thereby it was forbidden for it to be translated into, quote unquote, from the Latin to lay people language. It was literally punishable by death. And then it changed. And then it came about. So again, there's an aspect here, and whatever your personal beliefs, that is where you want to see that control. There was powers that be that were in control that wanted to control the masses. And thereby they labeled these divinatory tools bad, evil, that type of thing. And again, that is true with anything. Are you using the highest and best aspect, the purity of something, or are you eroding it? Are you using it for illicit purposes, and so forth? So that plays across with everyone, with everything. And yes, okay, that makes sense. So let us look at hexagram. We're going to do the astrological influence, because again, you notice a theme in the last few shows where this spiraling effect, the continuum of something, and yet they're being very clear about, even though it continues, it's not the old way. It's not the old order of things. It is a breakthrough beyond repair, meaning a clean separation of the old to the new. And as you look on 7/3, so it was just on Sunday, we had the super full moon in Capricorn, 11 degrees Capricorn. And it's a super moon because its perigee is closest to the Earth, so it looks massive. In its orbit, it's the closest to the Earth. We also then, on that same day, have Mercury conjunct the Sun at 11 degrees Cancer. It's opposite it. And so here the Sun, the life force, and Mercury, the way we think, the way we communicate, so things are being magnified, amplified. And it's at 11 degrees. So 11 represents a way to, a way through. So there's these demarcations. We're being led to a new way, a new place. And then on Friday, which is 7/7, as I mentioned earlier, it's the 777 gateway. So the sevens, and remember 7, divine fulfillment, divine completion, the foundation of God's word, God's word, God's promise. And you can, whatever your belief, it is about the higher power, a higher hand, a higher power, and the divine fulfillment, completion, and deliverance of that promise, that the word. And so that is all on display. And then you see the beauty of this spiraling effect with the astrology, the astrological symbols, and so forth. Because again, remember, the entire starry heavens, the sky, the starry heavens, they were all named. They were all like us. 8 billion people on the planet named. And that name is purposeful. It plays a crucial role from the perspective of the soul. It is, and many people, Debbie Wilson from Endless Essences, she and I work with this a lot because of the fact that she does soul purpose readings, and much of that system is based on the etymology, the essence of your name. I look at it intuitively when I do readings with clients and everything. It matters. It plays a role. And how we untangle liberation, we're going to untangle what was corrupted, the goo. We're going to untangle from that so as to be reborn, renewed in that way. Let me just bring in, Olivia's mentioning a neighbor posted a fantastic photo she took on 7/3 the other night. Wish that she could show it. The moon came through a cloud bank. Exactly. You can see the mystical, the magical, the unseen, and and the presence and prominence of what's occurring. And yes, it's against the backdrop of absolute chaos, but remember, 63 and 64, after completion, so after the height of something, the order of something, comes the disorder, the chaos, before the order is renewed again, the new order. Old order, new order. So let's look at hexagram 40. And it says, there is no real difficulty that requires outward movement. It's always an inside job. It's always up to us to see beyond the illusion of the surface, of what's going on the surface. Its action is to untangle. Its hidden influence is 63. After completion, renew. There's renewal. Its underlining cause is 37. Family, support, unity. And it says, thunder over the abysmal water shows a sudden storm meant to release tension. This type of natural phenomenon happens when the leaves need to be removed from the trees during autumn, and again when the protective husks sheltering spring's rebirth are also removed. In either case, something is being loosened so that rebirth is liberated. See, this rebirth, this shot heard around the world, around the universe, the American Revolution that led to the birth of the United States, Pluto and Aquarius, this rebirth, this renewal, this liberation from the past. And we are being shown, and this is true of not just the United States, it's true, the United States just happens to be, no coincidences, is reflect, because remember, the United States was born, created as the ideal. And we've said the ideal becomes the new reality. And here's this rebirth. And so we are being shown on a universal level, cosmic level, world level, where, what's the goo? What didn't work? And it's painful. That's the chaos. We're being shown it. But remember, it's the breakthrough beyond repair. It's saying to us, we will move beyond. It's not about just repairing this boat, fill in the holes. No. It is about acknowledging that, recognizing everything, and this is individually, collectively, the whole of the whole. We can look at ourselves, we can look at the world, we can see governments, peoples, institutions, businesses, and see what was in need, 18, decay, repairing what's spoiled. We can see what's been spoiled so that we repair it, but we repair it in a way that moves beyond it, that transcends it. It is no more. It's not about just repairing it so that we continue on. Whatever is blocking your ability to move effortlessly and joyfully through the world of events will be no match for the situations that unfold to help you let go. See, this is a higher hand. It's no match. What we do, this repairing, breakthrough beyond repair, and you can see on the world stage, pardon me, my nose is itching, where there's a section of people trying to go backwards. There's this section that's trying to leap forward. And there's these pieces, but it's talking about all of that. See, it's beyond repairing what's spoiled. It's beyond a breakthrough beyond repair. It's about quantum leap forward. It is about a whole new way, a whole new language, a whole new operating system. And thereby, this situation is, whatever's blocking you is no match for the situations that unfold to help you let go, to help you leap forward. The hidden influence of after completion also underscores a need for renewal. There's a need for us to renew. There's a need for us to truly advance, but renew, like renew, a whole new humanity, a whole new world. And there's a need for a whole new opportunity, a whole new way of being, living. And thereby this after completion, we've completed this. Now there's a whole new way. The underlying cause of family suggested a time of nurturing and protection. We came together as families. We came together to assist, to survive, to advance. And there was a beauty in that community coming together. We, in again, the analogy of the U.S. and moving, you used to have barn raisings, home raisings. The community came together. Somebody new came, and everybody in the community came together to help build, because they were homesteading. They were coming in to expand, to explore, to settle a new life, a new way. And so you came together. And that is 37, family, is the hexagram, is the energy that was underlining this original form. A time of nurturing and protection. Defensive ideas meant to protect anger or a lifestyle of hiding will be brought out in the open so that you can find deliverance from yourself. So anything we're hiding, because again, forgiveness, anything we're hiding. So defensive ideas meant to protect anger or a lifestyle of hiding will be brought out into the open so that you can find deliverance from yourself. Look on the world stage. Pluto, the underbelly, the underworld, showing us what's been hidden. It's not pretty. Look at all of this stuff that's been hidden, defensive acts, protecting anger or a lifestyle, a way of being, something illicit, and it's being brought to bear, brought to the fore. And it's happening rapidly from the hashtag Me Too movement forward. All of these movements, things that took centuries, decades and centuries to be revealed, are being revealed in days, in years, not decades or centuries or millennia. So, and it's all about so that it's deliverance from yourself. It's not somebody else who's your enemy. It's deliverance from yourself, because it's the way you're thinking. It's the way you're hiding. It's the depth of the light, meaning the proximity to the light or the distance from it. How close to the light are you, or how far away are you? And these things are being brought out so that you can deliver yourself from the darkness, from the evil of it. Forgiveness is not something we offer others, but something which leads to our freedom. It's an inside job. The upper trigram of arousing hits like a bolt out of the blue to lead us from the abysmal danger. Whatever is transpiring will bring renewal and calm to the inner landscape. Inside. So whatever happens, higher hand, this demarcation line, this greater arc and act, this force that there's nothing, and look back historically. This isn't airy-fairy. We can see historically. Again, we can reference the Bible, the Quran, the Mahabharata, all of these different ancient texts, the Sumerian texts. They speak to a higher force, a higher hand. And there was nothing, there was no match. It effectuated the advance, the change. Whatever is transpiring will bring renewal and calm to the inner landscape. It's going to be an inside job. It's going to restore balance, peace, harmony. It is important that you return to a place of calm and renewal. G, meaning deliverance, liberation, deliverance, releases tension and stress and is a time of letting go so that you don't drown in your own quagmire of negativity. It's really speaking about where are we negatively, in judgment, in frustration, in not wanting to let go, not wanting to advance, and how this moment reveals what is yours, what awaits you. There's a higher arc, a higher act. It says things cannot remain permanently obstructed. Therefore follows deliverance and the release of tension. The arousing thunder stirs over the abysmal water, presenting the idea of a sudden storm, which relieves atmospheric pressure. It's about the release, it's like the pressure valve. You look on a water heater, there's a pressure valve. If it gets too hot, if the pressure builds up too much, the valve releases and it lets it go. That's a similar analogy of what we're talking about in this time. Liberation is the image of a sharp instrument which loosens knots. The Gordian, remember we had 21. It's that cutting through the Gordian knot, Alexander the Great cutting the Gordian knot. You can be worn and newly made. We spoke about this just at last show or the show before. Be weary not. And I said to you, oh, I don't know about all of you, but like you can feel the tiredness. There's a lot of fatigue. Worn, we can be both worn and newly made. When you release the unproductive energy that remains connected to anger, resentment, fear, afraid of the unknown, afraid of what's coming. We know the beast we know, and yet we're being we're not. I was going to say we're being pulled for, but there's not even. It's just a fait accompli. It is an actionary, old, new, and it occurs. But is there a connection to anger, resentment, fear of the new? And there we're cleaving, thereby individuals are cleaving to the past. This is a beautiful image. Let me bring this up. It's one of our quotes. And it says, anger becomes a stone upon the measure of tomorrow. If you cannot let something go, you are forced to carry it with you. And here is the image of these sacks of stones. So imagine that which you are unwilling to forgive, that which you are angry about, that which you are fearful about, any number of these things, whatever the stones represent that are of the past and that are of a lesser octave, the darkness. Anger becomes a stone upon the measure of tomorrow. If you cannot let something go, you are forced to carry it with you. Well, imagine you don't want to be carrying that weight with you. And it certainly won't go into the new. It is a breakthrough beyond repair. It gets eliminated. Liberation is another principle of movement in stillness, where you can find deliverance in the liberation that comes from releasing your hold on the past. Let go of the past. It's the past for a reason. It's behind you. You are not meant like that sack of stones to throw it on your back and drag it along because you can't even put it on your back. But you're dragging it along with you. Why? For what purpose? For what value? To what end? When we simply let go and we forgive ourselves and we forgive others and we release all that tension, all that anger, frustration, fear dissipates, goes away. It's gone. It's that beautiful saying, a lie becomes a part of your future, the truth, your past. So you got to carry the lie forward. But the truth is in the past because it's the truth. It's weightless. It speaks for itself. There's nothing to remember. The truth is easy. You can recall it 100 times exactly the same because it's the truth. It's not being embellished upon. It's not being, you get the idea. So, in the case of forgiveness, you give nothing away that you really needed anyway. You're not giving in forgiving. We're not giving away. You are not less than, because forgiveness is an inside job. You are willing to see yourself in the situation, in the circumstance. You are willing and able to see the other playing a divine role for you. And no matter how hard, you're able to let it go. By holding on to anger, it becomes your burden and dissipates as unproductive energy. There is no real difficulty that requires outward movement. It's an inside job. It is something that you, in an instant, you can say, I get the lesson, I got it, and I release it, I let it go. All of the principles of movement and stillness teach how there is no real difficulty that requires action out there, only a shift of awareness in here. It is said that change only happens when the pain of holding, let me bring this up because it's our pain, here it is. It is said that change only happens when the pain of holding on is greater than the fear of letting go. And this image was chosen because it's a beautiful, like turquoise caterpillar. clinging to the branch, and you look at the fullness of the bloom that it's moving, crawling towards, moving towards. It is said that change only happens when the pain of holding on is greater than the fear of letting go. So, and it's a beautiful example because, of course, the caterpillar becomes the transcendent butterfly. It is a breakthrough beyond repair. The butterfly doesn't go back to a caterpillar in that sense. It never goes back. It is a breakthrough beyond repair. It advances, whole and complete, whole new being, whole new you. Welcome, Elizabeth. So profound images, profound statements here. Through forgiveness, remember, of self and others, you can move freely, unhampered by unnecessary baggage. This is how anger becomes a shackle on the pathway of your freedom. Liberation is how life moves to free us, even when we unwittingly become stuck in complicated dynamics. Yes, it is a tipping point. It is absolutely that. And so again, we free ourselves. It is an inside job. We free ourselves. And this is also saying, and in addition to all of this awareness, of all of this truth, of all of this complexity, a higher force, a higher hand will advance us. That is the message of the 630-7-1. As clouds gather, electricity generates moisture, and you can feel the unproductive heaviness accumulating in the air. The ensuing storm releases the tension and cleanses the earth, where all things can breathe freely again. You know as well as I, go out after a great rain, everything smells new. Everything's been cleansed, washed away. That's the analogy. That's what we're talking about. And I just want to bring it up because they're bringing it, so, which I hadn't yet. This on Friday, this 777. I mean, again, look at how auspicious it's associated. 777s, slot machines, luck, betting. It's associated that way, and yet it's associated with the foundation of God's word, divine fulfillment, divine completion. So look at this. The Trinity, the tripling down, the auspiciousness, the auspicious nature of this moment, of this day, of this time, of this truth. These are all the things they're giving to me in the moment. Because, I'm going to bring it up, we haven't had it in a while, because we have the golden ticket. And look, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, new beginnings, new adventure awaits. The old order, the old way, it's over. It's done. It doesn't matter what it looks like on the world stage. The absolutes of truth, and which can be verified in hindsight, historically, it all advances. It all moves forward. So anything that's going on right now is simply that. It's an illusion. It's talking about what needs to be released for forgiveness, for advance, for deliverance. Forgiveness releases you from the burden that keeps you a prisoner to the past. It's right there. Forgiveness of self, of others, of our willingness to look, releases you from the burden that keeps you a prisoner to the past. When thunder and rain set in, the seed pods of all fruits, plants, and trees break open. The deliverance that comes from pardoning mistakes and forgiving misdeeds allows new life to flourish. Whatever the storm, it has the sole purpose of ensuring wellness below. So whatever the storm, whatever is going on in our individual and collective lives, this renewal, this breakthrough beyond repair, delivers the seeds, the offerings of the new. That's where we are. And it really does have to do with, and I didn't bring this up last week, it's in the show thread from last week, but it's Master Jesus speaks to about being the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. Well, that's exactly what this time is being, 630-7-1. Piscean to Aquarian, this completion, ending. I am the ending and the beginning. And you can see it looks like, two moons in the upper right, and yet is it not perhaps two earths, two different, but in essence, they are symbols of two different, and one look at the perigee. We're talking about the moon on July 3rd. It's at its perigee. It's closest to Earth. It looks far bigger. And then there's one that's further back. The future, present, and the past. Bigger than life, Technicolor. The one behind, color. They're two different experiences. They're two different ways. They're two different operating systems. And they are making us aware of this choice. Now, this was interesting. Number 5 is they said, something special, quote, in the air tonight. And I instantly got the lyrics and the song. It's Phil Collins, In the Air Tonight. And they had me look up the etymology of the name Phil. Phil means love. They were talking about forgiveness - love. Philip means lover of horses. All the king's horses, all the king's men. Couldn't put Humpty Dumpty back together again because he wasn't meant to. It wasn't meant to. They weren't meant to. It served its purpose. Now we advance. King Philip of Macedon was the father of Alexander the Great, the cutting through. They didn't see, there's the analogy. Everyone that preceded Alexander the Great with the Gordian knot, millennia, centuries, decades, trying to untangle, liberate, solve the mystery. And Alexander the Great comes up and goes, whew, because no one ever said that you couldn't untangle or untie it by means of cutting through it. It was never said that you couldn't. In other words, that wasn't cheating. It was just not realized until Alexander the Great came along and went, oh, and cut right through it. Simple. And Philip was also one of Christ's apostles. So we have this something special in the air tonight. Well, Phil Collins spoke to the fact that he wrote the song when he came back from tour and his wife decided to divorce him and so forth. And yet he said when he sat down and opened his mouth, the words just came out. And that to this day, people don't know what the song is about because they speculate and so forth. There's conjecture and speculation. And he said, and yet even I don't really know because I know that it came through me. It came out of my mouth. And the first opening lines to the song is, I can feel it coming in the air tonight, O Lord. And I've been waiting for this moment for all my life, O Lord. Can you feel it coming in the air tonight? So something special in the air tonight. We've been waiting for this time for 2,000 plus years. And I understand that. And it could be another 2,000. I don't have that knowing. The knowing that I do have from the unseen is they keep talking about this moment, this time that has been talked about for 2,000 plus years. And thereby we bring it forward. Number 6, because they said deliverance, at hand, taken by hand. And there's symbology. You can see my 2 fingers. The hand of God, the finger, the hand, the yod, the finger of God in astrology, the yod. But the hand of God touches the hand of humanity. There's a famous Renaissance painting of this. And it's that thing. So it's deliverance at hand. Taken by the hand. So in essence, in higher power, in God's hand, grace, apply this spiritually, not religiously. Remove religion or organized religion, no matter it. And it's not denigrating religion. It's just simply saying step beyond religion to see the purity, the truth, the spirituality, the essence of a higher power, a higher force, taking you by the hand, delivering you, as has been proven in the past. Elizabeth is sharing, what are some ways I can protect myself? I mean, my emotions, but also feeling safe in this moment. So, wonderful question. Be very mindful. Keep reminding yourself like a mantra that everything is divine and evolving. Everything is perfect and evolving. You have everything you need. You are whole and sovereign because you're divine. We all are. We are a spark of the divine. We are a creation of the divine. And so while that may seem airy-fairy, like air talk, it's not. The way we protect ourselves, if something dark comes in, for me, I immediately start saying the word over and over and over again, love, 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 love. And whatever it was dissipates, recedes. If something's really pressing, I'll say, go to the light, or I'll literally say, go see God. Go on, go talk to God. Because what that does again is it dissipates any dark force, negativity, energy, because I'm shifting from where I was in the moment, whatever it was that came in, a thought or a feeling or something, and those actions of love or go to the light or go see God or whatever, they transmute that energy. They push back and repel. Love simply just love heals all. So that's my go-to word. So in any one of those ways, Elizabeth, it's first and foremost to believe that we are absolutely divine and protected, whole and sovereign. And then whatever words or statements that help you pivot in the moment, to reassure you, to calm yourself, to regain a sense of peace and stability, centeredness, because that connects you to your higher power, your soul source connection. And that will rebalance. And that liberates you. That's liberation, freedom, deliverance from those thoughts, energies, emotions, circumstances. It will, and just keep doing them. I mean, however long it takes, keep doing it. And you'll see how it recenters you. It brings you back to center. Then the seventh thing, last but not least, the seventh thing, all these sevens, they said, a mystery, in quotes, a mystery, no more, no longer. And thereby, so in other words, what's been a mystery to us? What has been elusive? What has been, on the other side of the veil? What we've been waiting for, you're most welcome, Elizabeth, is, quote, a mystery, no more, no longer. And then I saw the magician card in the tarot, the number 8. And the magician represents humanity and divinity, one and the same. And the magician has all the tools. It has the 4 trades, if you will. So pentacles, cups, swords, and wands. It has all the tools. It is it represents manifestation, co-creation, co-creating with the divine. And thereby it's saying a mystery no more, no longer. And then the 8, the magician card, that in essence, our divine selves, our divine nature, what they're saying to me in the moment, will be at hand, will be on display, revealing what is yours, what awaits you. So all of this old, I'm like all of this old is over. It goes away. Why? Because, last but not least, and I'm just going here really quickly, it is deliverance, it's Independence Day, it's Deliverance Day. And yes, that was the 4th of July yesterday, but they mean this in a way that's far greater. And literally from the Martina McBride Independence Day song, let freedom ring, let the white dove sing. Let the whole world know that today is a day of reckoning. I had a client on 6:30, and the person that was coming through for the client was emphatic that the reading had to be done on the 30th because, and they said as number 6, it's a day of reckoning. And and in the song it says, let the weak be strong, let the right be wrong, roll the stone away, let the guilty pay, it's Independence Day. And so again, it's like, let the guilty pay. It's about letting anything that's less than darkness, it will pay of it will pay. It will pay the tab that's due. And we are simply to let go of, stand in our divine light, because we're consciously choosing to do that. There is a separation, there is a difference. Even if the darkness comes through, as I used in the example with Elizabeth of my own, the darkness can come in, but you consciously choose to release it, repel it, transition it, release it. You're not consciously choosing to live in it, to remain in it, to stay in that octave. That's the octave that has the bill due. That is the one that will pay, because that bill has come due. That's what we're talking about here, because let freedom ring, let the white dove sing. The white dove, peace, the promise, the symbol of resurrection after the floods. It's the symbol, the olive branch, the rainbow, and the dove. Well, it means new life. The dove came back to demonstrate, there's life after the deluge, after the flood. It's a similar thing here. This is what we're talking about. So powerful energies this week. And this week meaning denoting the new and what's there. And there's one last thing with hexagram 40. I'm mindful of the time. Deliverance and freedom from hardship. So hexagram 40 via ifate.com explains it as deliverance and freedom from hardship is the meaning of this most welcome hexagram. Old relationship wounds are healed. You are set free from opposing forces, and real love is indicated on your path. Some communication challenges may still lie ahead, but the stage has been set for true love to come into your life. See, the stage has been set for the real, for the true, for the truth, for the ideal. The ideal was always the truth. Dreams are destined to come to fruition. Clear the air of any remaining tensions and grievances. It will prove very helpful to write a kindly worded letter to someone. Write it to yourself. Remember, forgiveness, deliverance, liberation, atonement. We can do, it's an inside job. We don't need someone else's concurrence, approval, acceptance, as long as we are genuine in that liberation, that forgiveness, that releasing of the old, letting go of whatever we need to let go of. And we can write that in a letter to the person, to ourselves, and keep it, send it, whatever you are moved to do, but it will liberate you because it's not dependent on the other. This is a time when you will find it easy to forgive and forget. Worries will wash away like water. Your heart will open effortlessly. But be strongly advised, you must consciously seek to escape the pitfalls of the past. It's an inside job. We've got to consciously commit to receive. Well, and we will receive it. We're going to receive it. The tab is due, the bill is due on one hand, and yet on the other hand, as long as we're consciously committed, we already are in the future because we are consciously standing in that light, in that octave. We are not standing in a lower octave or just to bring it up before we conclude, this main theme of we're not in this dungeon space We are not consciously in that dungeon space. It may appear, and thereby we can say to ourselves, liberation, freedom, deliverance, love, go to the light, go see God, whatever may work for you. But it's to know that you are no longer in that space. You are consciously choosing to escape the pitfalls of the past. And there is an escape ladder. There's a hatch. There's an illumination. There's light at the end of the tunnel. And that is where all of this is headed. That is where we are. And so I will conclude with that. Ava, thank you as well. So spot on for you today. And for me, I mean, truly for everyone, it's always an honor and a privilege to be with all of you. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And we will see what's up next in next week. Thank you all for joining. Until then, be well and be kind with yourselves, and know that there's something special in the air. All right? Thank you all.